Right now, we are developing Mario Maker, with which anyone can easily create their own side-scrolling Mario game. And where the act of creation itself is fun. It wasn't this easy to make Mario stages back in 1985. I'm very excited to see what everyone creates with Mario Maker. And who knows, one day, Mario Maker may become a popular series of its own.
Super Mario Maker 2 is the latest addition to the Mario Maker series. Released on June 28, 2019, this game gives the player many more items, enemies, and themes compared to the original. At the moment, a lot of people are enjoying it and are getting ready to release their own opinions on the game. And so am I. Well, a week later the game was released, but I wanted to give myself some time. In this video, I will be going over everything I want to discuss regarding Super Mario Maker 2, its new abilities, and its disabilities. How much more do we get here that we have to sacrifice from the original? Well, let's have a look. Although Mario Maker 2 still lets you use the touchscreen when in handheld mode, in docked mode, they now added new controls and button layouts to let you create a course without ever having to use the touchscreen. You now have the C stick to control the cursor, B to undo, the left and right buttons to switch items and menu selections, tapping the select button to play a course and holding it to play from the start. There's so many options here to make building a course easy without ever using a touchscreen. You also now have to tap the shoulder button once for one of two selection modes, multi-grab mode and copy mode, similar to Mario Maker 3DS. I have literally no idea why they brought that feature back when there's already LR and ZLZR, but it's there. It really does make creating a course more of a relaxing time, so you can just create a course looking at the TV without having to switch back and forth from the gamepad. However, there are some times where I will miss the gamepad considering the Switch's lack of a stylus. Using your fingers in handheld mode isn't a practical job, considering getting finger smudges on the screen, how big your fingers are, and how much of the screen your hands will take. What makes this even more frustrating is that the controller style of editing isn't possible in handheld, unless you take the Joy-Cons out of the system. Sure, you can get a stylus for yourself, and Nintendo did release a Mario Maker 2 branded stylus, though not available in the US, so, there's that. But not being able to just twiddle the C-stick and make a course like that in handheld kinda bothers me. I don't care if anybody disagrees with me, I just don't want to smudge up my entire screen just to place a Meowser and 3 Magic Koopas. Aside from that, creating a course is fairly straightforward, but instead of dragging a mushroom over an enemy to make it bigger, which is still possible here, but now there's a menu that pops up that gives you a number of selections depending on the enemy and item of choice. Finding said enemies, items, and other assets are more of a breeze here, since they're now in spherical menus and are categorized by their attribution to said category, like bloopers and Goombas in enemies, and P-switches and conveyor belts in gizmos. While this is a much cleaner and simpler way to find what you're looking for, I kinda just miss getting to see all the choices in one screen rather than scrolling the menus to find it. But Mario Maker 2 adds something very special and very useful to make up for that. Pinning assets. If you want to have an asset stay on the top menu while you're scrubbing through other assets, pinning them will make them stay in the menu for later use. This is incredibly useful, so I don't have to find that certain item, enemy, or ground tile over and over and over just to use it. It makes course creating so much easier, and can also be a very interesting tool in and of its own for those that want to challenge themselves to make a course using only certain assets. So yeah, as you could tell, I really love the controls for this game. It makes course creating a lot faster, though less convenient if you want to create on the road, but still, it's very nice to have here. There are a lot of new things that were added to this game, and they kind of make up a lot of the removed or unadded abilities, which I will get to later. First off is an item that was not only requested by a lot of people, but can even change the themes themselves. The Angry Sun. This bad boy was planned to be in the original game, but was scrapped for unknown reasons. Here, the thing works in its entirety, and it's amazing to watch. Plus, the sun is now possible in the other themes. Super Mario Bros., Super Mario World, and New Super Mario. Oh my god, what the hell is that thing? Get out of the way from Sorry about that. It's just, I am really wanting to know what kind of unknown intense substance an employee was smoking just to come up with this. It makes the Klaatu Sun look like a prince in comparison. Mario Kart Wii Sun and even newer Super Mario Bros. Wii Sun both used the regular Angry Sun skin and looked fine. I mean, it's fine when it's moving around in the course, but Jesus Christ, do not let the thing stay in place because I don't want to look at that horrifying face. Well, anyway, selecting that will give you the option to turn it from a sun into a moon, and it causes the theme to go into night mode. Each course has a special ability in this said mode. Ground makes the Goombas float, sky makes everything low gravity, underground is upside down, etc. While this is a neat thing to have here, I'd like the ability to have the powers be toggleable, instead of just permanently on, so that way I can just use the night theme as a regular theme, instead of just a moon gimmick. Anyway, activating the moon in that theme will give you the option to toggle it in the menu, instead of having to place the sun over and over again. Coins are now given more of a use this time around, and you can now place giant coins that give you 10 coins, 30 coins, or 50 coins. Unfortunately, you can only place 5 of them in the course in each sub area, but still, it's neat either way. Speaking of coins, there's some new clear conditions like grabbing a select amount of coins, jumping on a certain amount of enemies, not touching the ground, etc, etc, etc. There's a lot that they added here. Twister enemies are a new addition to the enemy lineup. Well, they're not really an enemy, but still, and they are able to spin and push Mario into the air, kind of like the tornadoes in Mario 3 and Mario Galaxy. Slopes are finally a thing here, and we have 2 varieties, so we could finally shut up about that. We now have vertical scrolling levels and custom auto-scrolling. We now have the new swinging claw item that could pick up Mario and items. There's a new seesaw platform, and it's just glorious. Boom Boom finally made an appearance. Not really necessary to mention here, but we can now have fish bones and dry bones in the same area. You can finally use both bonsai bills and snake blocks. Dry bone shells are writable here. You can finally now place sound effects on pink coins. And speaking of which, there's a bunch of new sound effects that I can't go over all together, but there are some new ones that change the background music to one of a different Mario game, like Mario 64 and Mario Galaxy. Of course, we got the new themes, Desert, Snow, Forest, and Sky. Speaking of which, what are considered the biggest questions in life? Was the moon landing fake? Is there life outside of Earth? Why did Nintendo make the Mario 3 jungle theme? And the last big addition I want to mention here is the new on and off blocks, originally seen in Super Mario World. This is a major addition, and it makes creating really complex contraptions even more intense, and it can also be used with tracks and conveyor belts. A lot of people who got the early copy of the game put this new addition to good use, with GameXplain recreating one of the courses from the U vs. Boom mode of Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. So yeah, they added quite a lot of new stuff here, and now that that's all out of the way, how about we dive into the new theme that was added here? Haha, yes. Now let's get into the new 3D World theme. And oh boy, this is what really got me when I got this game. I have no idea why they couldn't just keep the enemies and assets that were in the other styles when switching a theme, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. Whenever you want to use the 3D World theme and there's already items added into the course, everything ends up getting resetted whenever you go into said theme. Even the ground tiles get removed, which doesn't make any sense to me, since they're already part of 3D World. Same for the Goombas, Koopas, Bowser, which is now Meowser in this theme, coins, pink coins, doors, etc. I can understand that there's a lot in the 3D World theme that's not possible in the other themes, but making that big of a sacrifice just to use this theme if you already created it in another theme is kind of unbearable to think about. Even more upsetting is the things that got removed in the 3D World theme. More specifically, tracks. Tracks. Something that was already shown and used in the 3D World game that would have had the same functionality is now impossible to use in this game. And oh boy, I wasn't the only one upset about this. A lot of people were really angry about the lack of tracks in this theme. And same goes for enemy stacking. That's not possible here, which is again another thing that's possible in the original 3D World. Clear pipes can't connect with each other, making alternative packs harder to create. There's no alternative design to the semi-style platforms. There's no alternative course themes. It all just feels like we're missing a lot here. It kind of feels empty in a way. And overall, the fact that they took this 3D specific game, cut off one of its axes, and turned it into a 2D game is a baffling choice. But thankfully, not only is this theme so pleasing to look at, they added a lot of new enemies and items here. The main one I'm going to focus on right now is crates. Crates are a nice addition to have here in order to make creating platforms to get to another area much more intuitive. And they also added a new power block here. The new power blocks here act like the original and their predecessor, New Super Mario Bros. 2, in which they destroy blocks and deactivate other power blocks. I'm really happy they added all of this. It makes creating intense sequences in a course much easier and cooler than ever, and it's a very nice addition to have here considering everything we're losing in this theme, as well as the other themes. But it still doesn't deny the fact that having to reset an entire course just by switching to this theme is punishing, and really goes against the spirit of creativity in the original Mario Maker. Speaking of which...
And this is an issue compounded by the fact that 3D World is missing Mario Maker staples like tracks, vines, and even stackable enemies. Which makes no sense considering that 3D games are the ones that introduced that element in the first place.
There are a lot of objects that are present in the other styles that aren't here, and at first we were pretty disappointed with this. No Trunks, no Bowser Jr., it just all seemed like a sterilized theme in so many ways.
Another minor complaint I do have is the fact that there doesn't seem to be any skins in this game. One of the cool things about Super Mario Maker on the Nintendo Wii U was all the skins that they added to the game. You can play as different characters essentially in these levels, and it doesn't seem like there's any skins in this game.
Now, this might be just me, but I feel like there are a lot of Mario Maker 2 limitations. If I'm gonna be honest, the Mario 3D World theme doesn't even feel like a Mario Maker theme. It just feels like something for a free app and you had to pay $10 to unlock the other items, only to find out there's no way to pay for it. Don't get me wrong, I love how it looks and what you could do with it, but there's so little room to experiment, and having to reset your course every time you want to edit in the theme makes you feel anxious about using it. Same goes for the night theme, and how you're forced to listen to the music box alternative to the background music, and forced to use the effects the night themes have every time you want it set in a different background. There's also the screen limitation and how they didn't give you an extra screen or two of vertical height, but they give you twice as much ground to use in your course. And while we now have courses where some is land and some is water, that is only stuck to the jungle theme, and I already complained about Mario 3's jungle theme a moment ago. There's also the amount of space you have for creating a course. For handheld mode, it's fine, but when trying to build a course in docked mode, yeah, it's way too small. Maybe giving us an option to make the UI bigger or smaller would be nice, or giving us the option to make it look like the original Mario Maker's UI, but there doesn't seem to be a way to do any of those. And finally, the one that bothers me the most: the missing Mystery Mushroom costumes and Skinny Mushroom. These were what gave the original Mario Maker's charm as well, and just seeing this game not include any of them just doesn't feel the same anymore. I'm sorry, but I just can't shake off the eerie feeling I get when thinking about the things that you can't do here that you could do in the original game. Because of this, and because of the weird shoulder button selection thing you have to do, this doesn't feel like Mario Maker 2, rather Mario Maker 3DS 2. It might be just me, but I don't know. But while there's a lot of things here that can't be done or was done before but is now gone, there's still a lot you could do in this game. I still had a decent time with it, and building courses regardless of its limitations is pretty fun. All of which I'm not really gonna get into here. Oh, speaking of courses... In the beginning, there was the 10 Mario Challenge. 10 Mario Challenge. Then, there was the Super Mario Challenge. Super Mario Challenge. Now, we have... Story Mode. That's what it's just called. Yeah, Mario Maker 2 now has its own story mode to go along with the game. The story goes that Peach's castle has been completed, and when the reset rocket button flies to the ground, Undo goes and presses it, destroying the entire castle in the process, with Mario Maker's resetting animation. That is really cute, I'm not gonna lie there. Now you have to collect as many coins as you can and clear as many courses as you can to build the castle once again. Or just build it once since it was already built from the start, but now it's gone, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm gonna be honest, this mode really showed this game's full potential with what you could do. In fact, there are some special clear conditions here that aren't possible in the main course maker, like guiding a lost toad to the exit and carrying a stone block to the exit. When you complete all of the stages, you unlock a special power-up. The Hammer power-up. Exclusive for the Mario 3D World theme, this power-up turns you into the Builder version of your character, like Builder Mario and Builder Luigi. The hammer itself is used to break blocks that would be more difficult for Mario to break. You're also able to create crates out of nowhere, creating up to 5 crates at the same time. But now wait a minute, what happens if he switches over to the Mario theme? What does it turn into? Wait. The Super Ball Flower from Mario Land? Yeah, out of all the power-ups they decided to bring back, they decided to bring back the one from the Game Boy game. That is very interesting. Not only that, but it grayscales, or green scales, your character, making them look like they pop right out of the Game Boy. Not only that, but it also plays the Mario Land music with the course clear and death sounds given the same treatment as the original Mario Maker costume. And it works just the same way as it did in the original game. This is perhaps one of the weirdest references to a Mario game I have ever seen in my life. And it's kind of neat that they added it here too, as it brings back that odd but charming vibe of the original Mario Maker. And the fact that it's a fully functional power-up and not just a costume is pretty cool, if you ask me. So, in short, this story mode really adds a lot to the game. The courses are fun, the castle's progression is fun to watch, and the overall experience with it makes it worthy of its own game. So yeah, it gets a thumbs up in my book. So now I bet some of you might be asking, how come I put Course World all the way to the end instead of somewhere in the middle? Well, it's because... yeah. Thankfully, my friend Pickpen or Evan Doodle decided to record some gameplay footage for me, so I am very grateful for him doing that. Course World has been given a major makeover. They added a bunch of new stuff, they did remove some other stuff, but I'm not going to get into that. How about we sum things up a bit here? First off, our Mii profiles are able to be more customizable, with expressions and costumes being added onto them. Course IDs have now been shortened from 16 characters to 9 characters. You can now add descriptions to your courses, which are going to be very useful. There's also some more search options so that way you can be more specific on certain things you want to look up. There's the new multiplayer functionality, which is, they also changed the way you earn medals, so that way instead of collecting them whenever you get more stars, you have to collect them when doing certain tasks, like getting to a certain point in the endless mode, or again, getting the amount of stars. That way, there are more diverse options whenever you want to get all of them. While this is a neat thing to have here, I still do kind of miss just getting them from getting the amount of stars you have. And finally, there's Endless Mode, Mario Maker 2's answer to the 100 Mario Challenge. Instead of having to play a certain number of selected courses, here there are no limits. Basically, play till you drop. And I literally do mean that. You have to play as many courses as you can until you get a game over. So yeah, I really do like what they did with the course mode. There's so much that you can do here. But let's be honest, I think we all know the reason why they made this. So now there's an actual reason for you to get Switch Online. Sorry for that. What was I saying again? Oh, yeah, Course World is good. That's right. Oh, and before I go, there is one last thing that I want to mention here. Yamamura's Dojo. Just like Mario Maker 3DS, Yamamura and... wait. That's not Mario. I'm guessing this Nina character is the new Mario for this game? I have no idea. As I was saying, Yamamura's Dojo is focused on course creating and teaching you how to build courses properly. Just like its 3DS counterpart, it focuses on the player going from a beginner course maker to an advanced asset technician. They teach you about using items in ways that weren't intentionally meant to be used. They teach you how to place platforms and decorate properly. And best of all, they teach you not to troll. Nintendo is literally going out of their way to prevent troll courses from ruining a player's experience. And I love it. Although, it doesn't stop a player from placing 1,000 hidden blocks all over the place, but still. I really love what they're doing with all of this, and it really makes the player feel more at home just like the original game. It's also pretty fun to look at Yamamura and Nina's dialogue. So, yeah, I think a lot of you already know what my opinion on Super Mario Maker 2 is. In short, there's a lot here in Mario Maker 2. I can't address it enough regardless of the game's limitations. It's a far superior version over the original game in every way possible. I'd recommend it for those who haven't touched the game before, and I also recommend it for those who are longtime fans of the Mario Maker series. It's perhaps my personal favorite game for the Switch as of now. If they somehow top this and make another Mario Maker game out of nowhere, there will be a crown for that. And if they added more updates to this game, it'll get an even bigger crown. And the whole thing just goes from there. This is definitely a new start for this Wii U classic, and I'm very happy to see that Nintendo still cares about this series. If any of you have a Switch, I recommend you get it. There's no denying and there's no excuse not to get it if you haven't played Mario Maker before. It's a game that'll surely make millions of Switch owners happy. It's gonna be staying in our Switches for a long time. Hello everybody, thank you for watching all the way to the end. I'm really happy with how this video turned out. I spent a long time working on it and I pushed myself all the way up to the limit just to get it out. So I'm really happy with it turned out and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. If you did enjoy this video and you want to see some other weird videos from me, be sure to hit the like button, and if you're new, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that way you'll be notified whenever I upload a video. If some of you have any suggestions for what you want me to talk about next, and if some of you have any fan art you want to submit to me, you can submit them all via Twitter, Discord, or in the comment section below. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. But before I go, I would like to ask, what do you think about Mario Maker 2? Are you going to get the game, or are you going to pass on it? And what are your thoughts about those that are enjoying the game? Tell me all that in the comments as well. So anyway, like I just said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!